She just draws pictures in a cubicle, Mom told everyone at the gala. Makes barely 45K a year. My brother Michael added, it's a dead-end job. But at least she's quiet. My phone buzzed. A flashing red alert. Catastrophic failure. Shanghai Tower. Chief Architect Rachel. Needed for urgent consult. Their smirking stopped. It was 11:51 p.m. when my phone lit up on the nightstand. I wasn't asleep. I was just staring at the ceiling, still replaying the humiliation from the gala earlier that night. It was a group text from my mother, Amanda. Rachel, after the gala tonight, your father and I have discussed it. Your negative energy is just too draining. We've decided it's best for everyone if you don't attend family events for a while. We need some space. I stared at the words, feeling the air leave my lungs. Seconds later, another notification popped up under the message. My brother Michael had hearted it. That was it. Not just a dismissal, but an agreement. I had been officially and publicly exiled. Have you ever felt like the outsider in your own family? Let me know your story down in the comments and tell me where you're listening from. I didn't cry. I didn't text back. Why? I didn't even feel that familiar hot sting of anger. For the first time in my life, I felt nothing. Just a cold, sharp, and sudden clarity. It was the kind of focus I usually reserved for calculating the seismic load on a 90-story skyscraper. This wasn't an emotional event, it was a business decision, and my family had just declared bankruptcy. I didn't turn my phone off. I just set it face down on the nightstand. I got out of bed, walked to my desk, and opened my laptop. The screen cast a blue glow in the dark room. My fingers didn't shake as I typed in the login for the private bank portal. I navigated to the account named Family Business Reconstruction Fund. An account that only I had access to. An account that my father Robert thought was managed by some anonymous third-party investor. I looked at the balance. $650,000. My money. Every dollar was mine, earned from 9 years of work, of bonuses I never mentioned, of projects I led that they thought I was just drawing pictures for. My mouse hovered over the transfer funds button. I thought about my mother's words. Negative energy. I thought about Michael's smug little heart icon. I clicked. I selected the destination account, my own private savings. I typed in the full amount, $650, 0. I clicked confirm. A small green checkmark appeared. Your transfer is complete. Then I navigated to the automatic payments tab. There they were, the lifelines I had set up 4 years ago. The entire infrastructure that was holding my family's success together. First, Robert's business loan, monthly payment. A payment that kept the bank from foreclosing on his failing company. I clicked the button. Cancel payment. Second, warehouse lease, A divided by R. The rent for the building that held all his inventory. Cancel payment. Third, Michael A. Partner allowance. The $5,000 I sent him on the first of every month. The money he used to fund his crypto trades and flashy lifestyle. The money he bragged about as easy money. My cursor hovered over it for just a second. I thought about his heart on that text. Cancel payment. I logged out, closed the laptop, and looked at the clock. It was 12:03 a.m. It took exactly 12 minutes to dismantle an empire they thought they had built. It took 12 minutes to end the lie. They wanted space. I was giving it to them. You might think that was a cruel, impulsive decision. But it wasn't. It was the result of a cost-benefit analysis I'd been running in my head for nearly a decade. My negative energy, they mentioned. That was just my silence. The gala, just a few hours ago, was the perfect example. It was at the New Modern Art Museum, a building I'd actually consulted on the structural integrity of. My family was there, schmoozing, holding drinks. I was standing near a sculpture when my mother Amanda brought over one of her friends. This is my daughter Rachel, she said with that tight, apologetic smile. She's the artistic one. She works as a draftsperson for an architecture firm. Oh, how lovely, the friend said, her eyes glazing over, already looking for someone more important to talk to. My brother Michael sauntered over. Mom, you're being too kind. She's a cad monkey, stares at blueprints all day. It's so boring I'd fall asleep. My mother laughed. Now, Michael, she said, be nice. We need people like Rachel to do the… You know the details. Then she turned to her friend, her voice bright with pride. Now, Michael, he's the real genius. He's a crypto influencer. He made more money last month than most people see in a year. I just stood there. I didn't correct them. I stopped correcting them 6 years ago. I remember the exact moment. I had just won the Innovators Grant for my sustainable skyscraper design. I was 24. I called them buzzing with excitement, trying to explain how I'd used biomimicry to solve a complex wind load problem. My father waited until I was done and then said, "That's nice, honey. But Michael just got a new car, a red convertible, he's so happy." I realized then that their mockery was actually less painful than pouring my heart out explaining my passion, only to see their blank, uncomprehending stares. My silence became my shield. I let them believe I was a low-level draftsperson. I let them call me the boring one. It was easier. It was easier to let them think I was a failure than to prove my success to people who were determined to misunderstand me. The real truth. 4 years ago, my father's company, Roberts Custom Logistics, was on the brink of bankruptcy. He'd made a series of bad investments the bank was calling, and they were weeks away from foreclosure. He didn't tell me. I found out from a panicked call from my aunt. Robert was too proud to ask his failure daughter for help, so I didn't wait for him to ask. I wasn't a draftsperson. I was a lead structural architect at one of the top firms in the country, pulling in $650K a year plus project bonuses. I took a look at his books. It was a disaster. So, I acted. I restructured his debt. I anonymously negotiated with his creditors. And I secured a new business loan for $650,000. The bank wouldn't give it to him, of course. They gave it to me. I put my own downtown condo up as collateral. I set up the Family Business Reconstruction Fund, registered it under a blind LLC, and programmed the automatic payments myself. For 4 years, I had been their silent savior, their anonymous investor. And for 4 years, at every holiday, every gala, every dinner, I had been their public scapegoat. I actually managed to sleep for 3 hours. I woke up at 7 a.m. to the sound of my phone vibrating so violently on the nightstand it sounded like a construction drill. I didn't have to look. I knew. I let it vibrate for a full minute before I picked it up. 18 missed calls. All from my mother, father, and Michael. I opened the text messages first. "Michael, where is my money? My transaction was declined. What did you do?" Michael, 7:01 a.m. "This isn't funny, Rachel. I have a major deal closing. Put it back, now." Michael, 7:05 am, pick up your phone, you selfish bee. Then a text from my mother, Amanda. "Mom, 7:10 a.m. Rachel, please call me. The bank just called your father. All the business accounts are frozen. There's been some kind of terrible mistake. Please, honey, we need to fix this." A mistake. That's what she called it. I was sipping my coffee when my personal cell rang. My mother again. I decided to answer. "Hello. Rachel, thank God. What did you do?" Her voice was high-pitched, frantic. "The bank says the primary investor pulled all the funds. Your father is having a panic attack. You have to call them. You have to tell them it was a mistake." "It wasn't a mistake, Mom," I said calmly. The line went silent for a second. What do you mean it wasn't a mistake? Rachel, this is your father's company. This is our family's livelihood." "No, Mom, it was my company. I was the one funding it, and I'm not doing it anymore." You can't do that," she shrieked. "We'll be ruined." Michael's allowance. Michael is 32 years old. "He can get a job," I said. "I'm done." I hung up. I knew what would happen next. The panic would turn to rage. The confusion would turn to blame. They weren't sorry they had exiled me. They were just shocked that the scapegoat had finally refused to be sacrificed. I gave it 10 minutes. Sure enough, a new notification popped up. A Facebook post from my father, Robert. He tagged me. "It is a sad day when you realize you have given your entire life to your children only to have one of them turn on you with such poison. My daughter Rachel, out of pure jealousy for her brother's success, has decided to try and destroy the family business I've spent my life building. She is ungrateful, unstable, and we are praying for her. I read the post and then I read the comments. Aunt Carol, Robert, this is heartbreaking. We're praying for you. An old neighbor, I always knew that one was trouble. So quiet. The quiet ones are always the most jealous. Michael, thanks for the support, everyone. It's a hard time for us. My sister is clearly having a breakdown, and we just hope she gets the help she needs before she ruins her own life, too. He was painting me as the unstable one. Me, the one who had silently paid his bills, funded his crypto scams, and kept his father's house out of foreclosure, all while he hearted the message kicking me out of the family. The anger this time wasn't hot. It was cold. It was clinical. I realized I was done playing defense. I was done being their secret. I picked up my phone and called Julia. Julia wasn't just my best friend from college. She was also one of the most ruthless forensic accounting attorneys in the state. She specialized in dismantling complex financial frauds. I figured this was close enough. Rachel, she answered, her voice already sharp with coffee. It's early. This better be good. Hey, Julia, I have a question. How do you legally and professionally take back $650,000 from a family that's just publicly disowned you? There was a pause. I'm going to need you to start from the beginning. I told her everything. The 4 years of secret payments, the gala, the draftsperson humiliation, the 1151 p.m. text, Robert's Facebook post, Michael's entitlement, everything. When I was finished, there was another long silence. Rach, she said finally, I'm not your friend right now. I'm your lawyer. And as your lawyer, they are so screwed. I don't want to destroy them, Julia, I said, and I meant it. I just want my money. I want what's mine. And I want to be free. I understand, she said. Then we don't start with a lawsuit, we start with a formal demand letter. It's not family drama anymore, Rachel. This is a debt collection, a major one. What do we do? You're going to send me every bank statement, every wire transfer, every text message where you discuss the payments. I'm going to draft a letter on my official letterhead. It will be delivered by courier to your father, your mother, and your brother today. It will state that they have 30 days to contact my office to arrange a repayment plan for the $650,000 in unsecured loans you provided. I felt a shiver go down my spine. And if they don't? Then Julia said, her voice turning sharp, we move to Thanley. We liquidate every asset they have to get your money back. The house, the business inventory, Michael's shiny convertible. All of it. Okay, I said, taking a deep breath. Do it. I hung up and started gathering the files. This wasn't about family anymore. This was about accounting. I spent the next 3 hours compiling 4 years of my life into a single password-protected file. Every wire transfer, every email confirmation, every short demanding text from my father. I sent it all to Julia. Then I tried to work. I logged into my firm's server, pulled up the structural plans for the new Shanghai tower, and tried to lose myself in the math. But my focus was shattered. At 2:15 p.m., my personal phone rang. It was Julia. That was fast, I said, answering. Rachel, she said. Her voice was completely different. The friendly, supportive anger was gone. In its place was the cold, precise tone of the forensic attorney I'd hired. Stop what you're doing. I need you to listen to me very carefully. I put my coffee cup down. What is it? This isn't a debt collection case anymore, she said. This is a criminal investigation. I need to know if you're prepared for that. What are you talking about? I was cross-referencing your bank statements like you asked, Julia said, her voice clipped and professional. I was building a timeline of your payments to the fund. But I saw something else. A note in your records from your grandmother's estate 5 years ago. It mentioned a probate distribution. Yeah, my grandmother left me and Michael $100,000 each, I said. I never saw mine. My father said he was holding it in trust for me to keep it safe. I forgot about it. He wasn't holding it, Rachel. He was stealing it. I couldn't breathe. What? I'm a forensic accountant, remember? I pulled the probate records for your grandmother's will. The trust was legitimate. But then I subpoenaed the trust's bank records. The account was opened 5 years ago, and it was emptied 3 years ago. One single withdrawal for the full amount. $100,000. He used it for the business, I stammered, still trying to find an excuse for him. No, Julia said. Her voice was sharp as glass. I pulled the withdrawal slip from the bank. The signature on it isn't yours. It's not even a good forgery. He signed your name, and the teller either didn't check or didn't care. She let that sink in for a moment. And here's the part you really need to hear, Rachel. I traced the transfer. That $100,000 didn't go into his business account. It went directly into a newly opened crypto brokerage account. I said nothing. An account, Julia continued, under the name of Michael A. Your father didn't just borrow your inheritance. He stole it, he forged your signature, and he gave it to your golden boy brother to fund his very first crypto gamble. The one Michael always bragged about, the one that supposedly launched his career. I leaned forward and put my head in my hands. It wasn't sadness I felt. It was a terrifying, absolute cold. All those years, all those lectures about my wasted education, all that mockery about my boring job, it was all a lie built on my money. My stolen money. They're not just ungrateful, Rachel, Julia said softly, her friend voice returning for a moment. They're criminals. I know, I whispered. So I need to ask you again, and I need a clear answer. Are we just collecting a debt, or are we reporting a crime? I thought about the 1151 p.m. text. I thought about the hearted message. I thought about the Facebook post calling me unstable and jealous. I want you to draft a second letter, Julia, I said, my voice as cold as I felt. And I want you to send it to the district attorney. The demand letter from Julia, combined with the DA's inquiry, had done its job. The family went dark for 48 hours. The Facebook posts stopped. The angry texts evaporated. I knew they were panicking, probably trying to find a lawyer who would clean up their mess. Then, on Saturday afternoon, the knocking started. It wasn't a normal knock. It was a frantic, desperate pounding on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole. It was my mother, Amanda. She wasn't the composed, elegant host from the gala. Her hair was a mess, her eyes were red and swollen, and she was vibrating with panic. I opened the door, but I didn't unlatch the security chain. Rachel, thank God you have to stop this, she cried, pushing against the door. The bank is calling it foreclosure. They're seizing the business, Michael. They froze his accounts. You have to call your lawyer. Call them off. I just looked at her. I didn't say anything. Please, Rachel, she begged, tears streaming down her face. This is your family. This is your father. You can't just let this happen. Do something. For your brother. Please. For Michael. For Michael, I repeated. My voice was quiet, but it cut through her sobs. It's always been for Michael. What? What are you talking about? She stammered. I finally understand it, Mom, I said, looking at her through the narrow gap. I see the whole system now. I've been reading about it. It's a classic family dynamic. You needed Michael to be the golden child. The one who reflected all your hopes, all your perceived success. But the thing about that dynamic is that if you have a golden child, you also need a scapegoat. She just stared at me, confused. You needed someone to blame for all the family's failures, I continued, someone to pour all your disappointment into. That was my job. I was the scapegoat, the negative energy, the draftsperson, the boring one. It kept your perfect little system in balance. That's not true, she insisted. We love you both. No. You loved Michael and you used me. But the system is broken now. The scapegoat just bought her own freedom. I unlatched the chain and opened the door just enough to pass 2 folded documents through. Amanda took them, her hands shaking. What is this? The first document, I said, is the final notice of asset liquidation from my attorney. It's done. I'm not stopping it. I'm taking back the $650,000. She let out a choked sob and looked at the second paper. And this police report. That, I said, is the evidence of the $100,000 in inheritance that Dad stole from me. The money he forged my signature to take, the money he gave to Michael to start his career. The DA's office finds it very compelling. My mother's face went completely white. She looked from the paper to me, her eyes wide with a new kind of terror. This wasn't just financial ruin anymore. This was prison. You wouldn't, she whispered. You came here and banged on my door demanding that I do something, I said. I looked at her, at this woman who had exiled me with a text message. I did. I did exactly what you asked. I'm handling the family business. I stepped back and slowly pushed the door closed. Goodbye, Mom. I shut the door, latched the deadbolt, and walked away as the pounding started again, weaker this time and mixed with a sound I hadn't heard in a long, long time. The sound of her finally crying for me. 6 months later. It's amazing how much can be undone in 6 months. The legal battles ended not with a bang but with a series of quiet, frantic signatures. My father, Robert, facing irrefutable proof of forgery and fraud, agreed to every term. He signed over the house, the business assets, everything. The bank, the IRS, and Julia's legal team carved up what was left. He avoided jail time for the forgery, but only because I agreed not to pursue criminal charges in exchange for the full repayment of the stolen $100,000. He and Amanda moved into a small rental apartment across town. The company was dissolved. The warehouse was auctioned off. Michael. Well, Michael wasn't an influencer anymore. Without the steady $5,000 a month partner allowance from my account, and without the stolen inheritance funding, his crypto buys, his lavish lifestyle evaporated. Last I heard, he was working an entry-level office job. The kind of 9-to-5 he used to tell me was for people with no vision. I didn't take any pleasure in it. I just felt nothing. It was accounting. The books were finally balanced. I was sitting in my new office. Not the cramped cubicle of a draftsperson, but the corner office of a lead structural architect. I bought the space myself with my own money. It overlooks the city, and from my window I can see the steel skeleton of the new skyline tower I'm designing. I opened my laptop and pulled up one last file. The spreadsheet I'd kept for 4 years. The one I had bitterly named Family Support Fund. There it was. Every payment, every date, the running total that still made my stomach clench. $650,000. All that red ink representing years of my life, my sacrifice, my silence. I stared at the numbers for a long time. They weren't just money. They were a measure of my pain, a ledger of their betrayal. Then I moved my cursor to the corner of the screen. I clicked File, and then Delete. Are you sure you want to permanently delete this file? My finger hovered over the key. I thought about the gala. I thought about the 1151 p.m. text. I hit Enter. My screen was blank. It was gone. All of it. I closed the laptop. I looked out the window at my building. The sun was setting, catching the raw steel, making it glow like a promise. That night, I went home to my own apartment. I made dinner. I read a book. And at 10 p.m., I went to bed. I didn't wake up at 3 a.m., wondering if I was a bad daughter. I didn't wake up feeling guilty or small. For the first time in as long as I could remember, I slept through the entire night. No guilt, no noise, just peace. Have you ever been the scapegoat, the one who had to carry the weight for everyone else? Share your story in the comments. You are not alone.